Hello, today I wanted to share a walkthrough of where I'm at in my Project Life album for 2018. I'm using a 6x8 album. This is from Studio Calico. It's coral with white and gold dots, and this will likely be part one of two, so I have a second album once I fill this one up, because it's, beginning of March and you can see it's already quite full. So I'm hoping to get through April in here. And then the next one will be May through November, and then I will have December daily for December. So I did the same size last year and it worked really well for me. And instead of doing a week at a glance, what I do is try to tell one story per week. And oftentimes I have more inserts than that, or I put other, I tell more stories, but that's my goal, and so far that's been really doable. So for my cover page, I have this transparency, also from Studio Calico. I made my cover page using, I'm a social worker and I work with first graders right now, and so one of my girls drew this for me. And I just put the year, and I used some Ellie Edwards chipboards and wood veneers. In the back of that page, I wrote a letter to 2018. I typed it up on vellum on my typewriter and then just layered that over some pattern paper. Just has some of my thoughts about the beginning of the year. This divider marks the beginning of January, and I have one for each month. These are also from Studio Calico, and I believe they were 12 inches long, like they were made for a larger album, but I just cut them down because they were not pre-punched. So I was able to punch them to fit this album. And then for the first page of each month, I decided to do this little 2x2 layout where I have the month stamped on a piece of vellum, and then I have these little photos that I haven't documented anywhere else. This is partly because I have so many of this page protector and I don't really know what to do with it, so this was a bit of a challenge to me to figure out how to use it. And so these are a lot of photos of like projects from Instagram that I don't necessarily document in my scrapbook. And then on the back of that, for January, I just put some little stories that didn't get documented anywhere else. Like, I took a trip to IKEA and rearranged my apartment. I repaired my grandfather's typewriter. That happened that month. So just little stories that won't get documented anywhere else. And then these are a lot of story kit, Ellie Edwards story kit embellishments. And this album is not just Project Life, it's really every sort of personal scrapbooking or storytelling I'm doing this year. So this is my one little word for my January prompt. My word is whole, but it came from this quote about wholehearted living from Brene Brown. So I put that on a piece of vellum. I stamped it. And then I have some of these journal cards that came with the January class, and I have some Instax photos of me and my dog. And then I filled out these little prompt cards. I still have some to do, like I haven't done definition or intentions yet, but I did most of it. The other thing I'm trying to do each month is do a currently page. This is inspired by Kristen Tweedale and the Awesome Ladies Project. She does currently journaling quite a bit, and these prompts are all from the cards that she has available, and I just typed them up onto a journal card I already had, and I made a shaker pocket with this Studio Calico cork that came in the documenter kit for January. Here I have a 6x8 photo. I really like to get these printed with a white border around the edge. Here's a story about San Francisco Restaurant Week, and these are just some bits of ephemera, a coaster, and a menu. And this is something I do when it's too big to fit. I'll punch holes and then cut tabs out so that it can just slip back in. Here I have another menu just folded up in there. Here's a page about a women's march. This was also the Change story kit from Allie Edwards. Okay, sorry about the cut. I went to turn the page and I realized there's some little faces that I needed to cover because the next page is about work. I gave each of the girls I work with a stuffed animal that is their favorite animal for a holiday gift. And so, yeah, I just have to cover their faces. And then I did this next page also about work, but I did a really long journaling card about what it's been like. This is my first full-time job working as a social worker in San Francisco, and kind of what that experience has been like. Because I think it's important to just not only document the cute, fun stories, but also the difficult, real parts of that kind of work as well. And this is where you can see my album starts to be a little unfinished. This is my last story for January. I need to do some journaling up here. And I might add something else to this pocket. But it's just about my mom visiting me. Here's February's divider. And the grid, 2x2 grid layout is done, but on the back I haven't yet gone and added those little stories. I did fill in the back with some pattern paper. This is from Paige Evans' Pick Me Up collection. And this first sort of mini 4x4 page protector was originally a 4x4 album I was doing for the Awesome Ladies Project Book of Me. And I ultimately decided that I like it better when I have everything in here. I have my one little word, I have my story kits. When I start to separate things out too much, I lose my momentum. So I just added some extra hole punches and put it in here. This is a photo from February, and I did my February currently journaling on the back. I got a handmade Valentine's Day card from my partner, who he also works with youth, and on the back I just wrote that he basically made it for me because he knew I would put it in my scrapbook, which I think is really funny and sweet. And next, this is my February one little word prompt, is a vision board that I actually just finished. So it isn't hole punched yet, but it will go there. And then I have a story about Girl Scout cookies with us. I took 2 of the boxes of my favorite cookies and then just glued them on 3 sides. And then I have this pull-out card that tells the story about my interaction with the Girl Scouts today, and then a memory I had about when I was a Girl Scout, and this song we wrote about Girl Scout cookies. This is an example of an extra story that at the end of the month I realized I had this photo that I really like. It's of my cat. This is the top of our doorway, and she's perched herself up there. So I went back and added this, and then I just added a short little 1 sentence about the photo. And here's another bigger story. This is a card that my mom gave me for Valentine's Day, and I had asked her to do a journaling card about gardening because she had helped me get some pots and get set up to plant a container garden this year. And so I do this a lot with my mom or my partner or friends, is I will give them a journal card and say, okay, can you write something about whatever it is I want to document? And usually they're willing to do it. So this is my mom's writing, and I put a photo of a text message she sent with the pots that she had started. And then over here on the back of the card she gave me for Valentine's Day is a photo of us a few months ago at the Conservatory of Flowers, and then this is when I was a baby in the garden together. And this was for another project that I made her, but I really liked them and I wanted to have that in my album as well. This is another story from the Change story kit from Allie Edwards. This was about Lent and Ash Wednesday. I have a photo from Valentine's Day dinner, which was right after Ash Wednesday service, and I wrote about that and about what I decided to do for Lent this year. And then I have a little, this is a reading I'm doing, and that's just kind of the intro to the little devotional booklet that I'm using. And here is some documentation of Chinese New Year, and I made this little tag booklet to go in the pocket. I have a photo of me and one of my girls, and then a drawing that she did for me, and then I wrote a story about, I gave her one of these red envelopes, and about her reaction and what she said about it, and it was definitely a story I wanted to remember. This is another thing I like to do a lot, is I took a screenshot of my partner, put a post on Facebook about his birthday and about the scrapbook I had made him and how he cried when I gave it to him, so I wanted to remember that. And I just wanted to use his words, and then I just put a little journal card with my thoughts on it. Another page about works, photos of me with my girls. You can see me, but they're covered up. And then this is where a larger 6x8 photo is going to go. I just haven't printed it yet. Here is another unfinished page. This is a class I took with Paige Evans. We did two 12x12 layouts, and I'm not really a 12x12 scrapbooker. I did one of them as a 12x12, and this one I decided I wanted to try to cut down and make a mini layout, but I have not finished that yet. Here we go into March. This is where my collage will be, or my grid layout will be. This is going to be my currently. I have the photo, no journaling, transparency that I got from, I think it was from Michael's. I think it's a Heidi Swap planner transparency, but I really like transparencies, and I'll pretty much punch anything transparent and stick it in my albums. It's a card from work, and a little story I did about one of my friends, Talia, and we have a really funny relationship, mostly through texting and talking, because we don't live in the same city anymore. But this was one of the she sent me this photo. I sent her back this edited photo of her picture that she drew, and then this was our conversation. So I like to use screenshots to include people that, like this photo is from several years ago, and I don't have any recent photos of us together, but this is a way to still include her, because she's still a big part of my life. And then on the back of that, I'm not quite sure what story I'm going to do, but I did, my last story for March so far is this. This is a playbill from a show I saw with my mom. I cut off the front and back covers and then attached them to some cardstock to make a little envelope. And I have another one of these tag booklets inside. It has our ticket, a business card from brunch, photo of us, my journaling, photo of the stage. So I really have been enjoying making interactive pages as a part of my album. And that's kind of where I am so far. I've got a story for the fabric Ellie Edwards kit planned about my knitting. Then I'm hoping to fit April in here as well. And then I will likely try to wrap this album up and start on my next album for the second half of the year. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. And I hope you have a really good day.